Darren Rizzi, the special teams coordinator, should be fired and escorted out of the building. The Denver Broncos showed the NFL and the Houston Texans who truly have the number one who has the best defense in the NFL. And the Broncos are going to win the division and unseat the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to another Overreaction Monday. I am your host, Isaiah Henderson, also known as the Bronco Gentleman, and welcome to an episode of Orange and Blue Blitz.
Tune in, now it's time to sit. Orange and blue, we never quit. Broncos pride is lit legit. Every week we're bringing grit. Orange and blue, we bring the heat. Podcast grinding can't be beat. Every play, every style we meet. Blitz so hard it's on repeat. Mile high dreams we elevate. Break it down, we narrate. From the field to the fan debate. Broncos country we dominate. We got the passion, we got the drive. Orange and blue keeps us alive. Every tackle, every stride. It's the Blitz where legends thrive.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Orange and Blue Blitz, brought to you by the Orange and Blue Network. I'm your host, Isaiah Henderson, also known as the Bronco Gentleman. It is Overreaction Monday, and as you guys heard in the introduction, we are talking about three things today. Darren Rizzi needs to be fired. We showed the Texans who really had the number one defense in the NFL, and that's why they're so mad. And the Broncos are going to are going to finish all the way these next four games 4-0, be 11-2, and we're going to win the division. But before we get into that, guys, we are on the cusp of 539. I saw it yesterday. We jumped up like 10 subscribers yesterday, so thank you to you all who did that. And we jumped up even more. We are right around the corner, guys. We're probably going to hit it this week. If not, yeah, definitely this week. But make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this with your friends and family. We are in the running for the Bo Nix jersey giveaway when we hit 539 subscribers on YouTube. 539 is Peyton Manning's total passing touchdowns when he broke the record for Denver. So when we hit that mile marker, that will trigger a Bo Nix jersey giveaway. But you must be subscribed to us on YouTube to be a part of that. So giving you guys an update, we are currently at 527 subscribers. That means we are 12 subscribers away from triggering that Bo Nix jersey giveaway. And once that giveaway happens, then we're going to announce the next giveaway. And we're just going to keep doing this because we are a fan-led network and we are here for you guys. So make sure you guys follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. In addition to that, make sure you hit that notification bell because now we have a show every single day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and on game day. We don't have one on Saturday. But today's Monday, so you have Overreaction Monday with Orange and Blue Blitz. And then I have the show Friday, blitzing the previous team. And then tonight, this evening as well, we have Broncos Bros with Dak and George, so you're not going to want to miss that. Then Tuesday, we have the flagship podcast with Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue with Johnny and Jay. And then we have Doc and JT on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. With my Symposium. So that's where you can get an update on the Broncos, the Avalanche, and the Nuggets. Not necessarily the Rockies because baseball's over. And then that same day, we also have Broncos Talk at 6 p.m. And then now our new show Thursday. Gosh, I can't read that. Maha iCast Thursday at 7 p.m. So that's our new show. So you're going to hit that notification bell. And then Friday, like I said, we have blitzing. This week we'll be blitzing the Raiders. I guess that would be on. We can't blitz the Raiders because we play Thursday. So I guess Friday will be Overreaction Friday then. And so Thursday may turn into what's probably going to happen is Thursday, where we have Mile High Cast. What we'll probably do is we'll probably combine the two and have a Mile High panel, an orange and blue panel for the Get Buck Game Day show with the Mile High Cast. And I won't be hosting that game day show because I'll be at work at that time. But I'm sure someone will be available to host that. And then Friday we have Viva Broncos. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that. So make sure you guys hit the notification bell for all of these shows and all of these updates because things are constantly changing. The host will change. Somebody covers down. Or, for example, if we have a Thursday game and I can't and I work, someone else will host the Get Buck Game Day show. And also, guys, we also have the play-by-play show as well, hosted by Bronco Rob. And Johnny was also a co-host on that, which was a smash hit. So if you guys are on the road or if you guys can't watch, you can definitely tune in and listen to the Laundry Blend Network host a play-by-play as well. Now that and don't forget, guys, hey, if you guys want to quick subscribe, hey, there's a QR code right here on the screen, so we can leave that up there so you guys can subscribe quickly because, like I said, 539 is right around the corner, just 12 subscribers away. But all right, so far we've got Shy, and we got Yost in the comments. He says, the one day I'm at the gym, you show up on time. Hello, I'm here. Let's hear it. Yeah, go ahead, put those headphones in your ears, bud. This Overreaction Monday. Shy said, how about them Broncos 7-2 first in the AFC West? Love to see it, love to hear it, love to be here for it. All right, guys, let's get to overreacting. Sean Payton came out with a presser today. He was a little grumpy today. He's been asked over the last few weeks about the head coaching of Darren Rizzi and the special teams, and he's defended him multiple times and said that he's been outstanding, and that he thinks that Mahai Medlock says Bronco Victory Monday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. It is Victory Monday. But Sean Payton said that the coaching's been outstanding, and he doesn't like that players aren't prepared to run on the field. I personally believe that that is a representation of coaching. Why do I say this? You don't see the offense having that miscues like that. You don't see the defense having miscues like that. But you do see the special teams having miscues like that. Now, when this was an issue, the last time this was an issue, do you remember who the special teams coordinator was? It was Dwayne Stukes. And it was, I can't remember his name. It was Montreal Washington out on the field at that time, and he was the punt returner. He ended up being fired that season by Jerry Rosberg, along with Nathaniel Hackett and Butch Berry. Now, here we're starting to have the same issue. Sean Payton fired Ben Kotwika last year for far less, and we went from number 2 to number 7 in special teams, and he fired him. Now we're almost last in the league in special teams, and he and the coaches is out. He's buddy. He's friends. I don't care about the outstanding reputation. I care about results. You let Tremon Smith go. The one redeeming quality about Darren Rizzi is he picked Jeremy Crawford, and that's an excellent draft pick, and Jeremy Crawford has been absolute bangers for the Broncos. So he's having an all-rookie punt season, all pro type rookie punting season. So so it's very, very interesting. So that's one thing that he's done so well. When it comes to, I mean, we picked up JT Gray, who's a Darren Rizzi all-pro, and yet we gave up when we elevated him yesterday. And then when it came to punt returns, they had 2 punt returns, and I'm like, okay, well, where is this all-pro guy? Where is this all-pro guy? Will Lutz is banger this year. Jimmy Crawshaw's awesome this year. But where's this coverage at? Where's JT Gray? So we picked him up, we elevated him, didn't see a difference in that. Ben Kotwika, appreciate the thumbs up, guys. Ben Kotwika is the assistant special teams coordinator for the Rams, and they're calling for the to fire the special teams coordinator and elevate Ben Kotwika, but I don't think we should have never got rid of him in the first place. Marvin Mims was an all-pro in those 2 years. Now there's the special teams coordinator is having miscommunications, and now Marvin Mims is getting injured. He's taking a step back. He's muffed it, banned him up yesterday, a blocked field goal. Just undisciplined everywhere. Penalties. RJ Harvey last game had a mishap. Just every week costs us something. And if you're saying it's the players, well, that starts with the leadership because the defense isn't having these issues. The offense is having 11 personnel. And you're even going in and out with personnel during a drive, and you're still not having these issues. So I think it starts. I think Sean Payton is definitely biased toward his friend buddy, and so that's why he's not fired. And it just is what it is. Yo says, "Dog, I'm still upset at Sean Payton for that press conference talking about no one was worried about the game." I think that Sean Payton and the Broncos are extremely confident right now, as it should be, first in the division. And the defense is playing out of its mind, which brings me to the next topic because wait, before we do that, let's finish the special teams comments before we move on to the defense showing the NFL who's number one. That block field goal was the definition of leveraging. It's absolute BS that they didn't call. Yeah, they didn't call the pass interference from Troy Franklin. They didn't call leverage on the block field, but they did pick up the Chris Edmonds drain penalty flag. And I will say this, it didn't seem like the Broncos were penalized as much as we usually were. So I will say that's an improvement. And so I think that was pretty good. Defense had less calls on them. Second half, Ben Joseph did an excellent job of bracketing Nico Collins. And I said this a couple weeks ago, and this is one thing that we hadn't had in the past. And this is getting into overreaction about the defense being number one in the NFL, which I don't think is much an overreaction. And I think that's why Texans fans are real salty today, is because when it came down to it, when it came to talking about who's defense, who's really the best, as I was like, Sean, I said, Sean, we score here, we go for 2, it's 0. And for the end of the game, I score at this point in time was 15-7. So I said, if we score, we get 13, we go for 2 and get it, it'd be 15-15. I said, basically that's 0-0. The remainder of the game would be whose defense is better, who can stop who from getting any points. Whichever offense can get a field goal or any points is going to. And from the beginning of the game, even with defending your pass not being there, CJ Stroud got hurt. It's always unfortunate we don't wish injuries, but it was a clean hit. The refs picked up the flag. Replay assist came in and said, hey, that was clean from beginning to end. And my thing is, hey, you know what, Texans fans, it's normal for QBs not to finish the game versus the Broncos defense. That's what a number one defense does. Just look last week against Prescott. He didn't finish the game either. Now, he didn't, but he got benched. It just is what it is. You just don't, and that's what a number one defense really does. You just don't finish the game against us. And we proved that. And that's what they're all upset about. And so Yo says, all Texas fans this morning that CJ Stroud stayed in, we lose. I disagree. My thing is, the same defense that took out CJ Stroud, he was going to be successful against. He wasn't successful against the defense when he was there. That same defense out. So did you think the defense was going to change with CJ Stroud there? Not to mention the second half adjustments by Vance Joseph, the pressure. CJ Stroud took off because there was no one open in the secondary, in the downfield, and the pressure got to him. That's that same defense that he would have played later on in the game. And so with Dre Greenlaw getting, I think he had 27 snaps. He definitely played some more snaps. This dude at the goal line with CJ Stroud in there was absolute gangbusters. And I was watching him on play action plays. He takes away the middle of the field. Him and Hufanga are a great pairing. And so this is just without DPOY. This is without PS2. And so what Vance Joseph did in the beginning of the game, he tried man. He tried to see, hey, can we man up and really, keep the same defense that we're used to. And you're not definitely successful without that with Pat Surtain. But this is where where I really give credit to this Broncos defense. And this is where drafting and development comes in. You have the luxury right now. The linebacker room is one of the best linebacker rooms in the NFL. Greenlaw, Sternad, Singleton, in that order. So you have Greenlaw who's playing rundowns, Sternad and Singleton who's playing pass downs. And then you have Hufango's coming in the box who can roam around. You have Jahdae Barron who can play outside, who can play inside. And you have Jaquan, and you have Chris Abenstrain. And you have all these guys rotating who come down the line of scrimmage and then back up and then go. And then they're rotating. And what we couldn't do in the past was if we had to switch from a man coverage-based defense to a zone-based defense, we would get gashed. But now we have such versatility in the secondary, we can do all those and switch in the second half, and then Nico Collins doesn't have any targets or any receptions in the second half. That's without the defensive player of the year. That's with Pat Surtain. So with Dre Greenlaw coming back and being healthy and being a thumper, Talanoa Hufanga doing his thing, and now Johnny Barron's getting more reps, Chris James getting more reps. That's only going to be better when Pat Surtain gets back, and that's only going to get. We still had 4 sacks, 7 QB hits. It's going to be this defense is going to be even better. Johnny says him going out actually threw a slight wrench into our game plan as we had not spent the week game planning for these meals. I don't think that was much different at all. No, I think second half we would have just and here's the luxury of what we have in the pass rush. And this is one of the reasons why we weren't able to zone out before and still be just successful. It's because of our pass rush. If we can send forward, like Zach Allen was tearing up the interior last game. When you can just rush forward and just drop back and blanket it and bracket their best guys without Pat Surtain being there, there's nothing you can do. And so we don't have to send blitzes and be in man coverage and be stuck. And, them constantly tearing apart the blitz. We don't have to do that. We send for everything in front of us. And what happens is on first and second down, we run zone, and then they'd get 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. Then we'd go man, double mug the A-gap, and then confuse them. So we go zone, a different type of zone blitz or a man blitz they didn't expect. At one point in time, Zach Allen dropped back into coverage, and Davis Mills got sacked because it looked like it was man coverage, and then Zach Allen dropped back into coverage, and and dropped back and covered the mesh, and he had no idea what that was, and Davis Mills got sacked. So this defense, the reason why Texans fans are really, really upset is because we went into their house and their playoffs hopes were on the line. This game would have put them back into the AFC in the running for the AFC South, especially with the Colts losing, but the Jags won. That didn't happen. Their quarterback's out for the next week. And not to mention we came to our house and we scored 2 touchdowns against the number 1 defense. They scored none against us. You got to remember that. Yo says Dre put pressure for sure. It was definitely our secondary with Moss and Hufanga who shut down the air game. I think Dre from Greenlaw had a sack too. But on that goal line stand, Dre Greenlaw, you can see why we got him. There's a couple times in the first and second half where we were just missing that linebacker where you didn't meet him 2-3 yards in the hole, 2-3 yards on the field in the hole. Dre Greenlaw was meeting Nick Chubb and Woody Marks in at the line of scrimmage, just waiting. And when he hits, he thumps with aggression. And what that does, that really does free up Talanoa Hufanga because Talanoa Hufanga was everywhere. And I think Robert Saleh and even D'Amico Ryan probably had, they had Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga playing great, but they played mostly zone. Robert Saleh and D'Amico Ryan, when they coached the 49ers on defense, played mostly zone. This is more of an aggressive man where Dre Greenlaw is either on the run snaps or he's playing play action. But because of the center of the field, the middle of the field being taken away with Greenlaw and that pass rush, Talanoa Hufanga can move everywhere, which he would do on certain plays and packages with the Niners. But this is every play as an offense. You're going to say, hey, where's number 9? Because he's either next to the linebackers or he drops back into safety or he drops back or he's playing 1 deep safety. He's almost had 3 picks this year. I just came to the conclusion he can't catch. But he's everywhere. He's almost getting a pick. He's running down this way, then turning back and almost getting an interception yesterday. Or he's covering a slot receiver and almost getting a pick yesterday. Or he's coming down in the box and getting a tackle for a loss. He can play anywhere and everywhere. And having Dre Greenlaw in the middle really opens it up for Hufanga. The same way I think having a good tight end, dual threat tight end opens up everything on the offense. And so I'm pretty sure later on this week we're going to talk about the trade deadline is tomorrow. So we'll probably talk about trade candidates today as well. Yo says, and like the Viking always chimes in and says, Benito with the pressure, constant pressure, constant. He hasn't gotten home, but he's gotten constant pressure. And the Raider game is coming up. So we're probably going to talk about a lot today. Since he apparently forgot how to slip blocks. 12 subscribers away from the jersey giveaway. Come on, people, subscribe. That's what Johnny says. Hey, guys, the QR code is on the screen. Go ahead and hit that subscriber button. We are 12 subscribers away from the Bo Nix jersey giveaway. You must be subscribed to us on YouTube. And also hit that share button so that way we can get it out there for more subscribers. Because after we hit 539, 750 subscribers is the next milestone, which triggers more giveaways and more than just a jersey. We include other gear as well. We might even include some W. So that's the things we got to huddle about as a network. But you guys have to be subscribed to it as well. Coach Chris says we need to sign JFM long term. That guy is a beast. That looks like a new name to me, Coach. If you're new to Orange and Blue, you're new to Orange and Blue. Salute, Coach Chris. Welcome to the Orange and Blue Network. We appreciate you. Yes. There's one thing that I've said more and more, and one thing that I really focus and notice with JFM, and I talked about it last week, and Vance Joseph was going into this week. This defense had a chip on their shoulder because they constantly talked about Houston being the best defense, and they didn't really talk about Denver. They kind of talked about Denver as an afterthought, especially with Pat Surtain being out. And Vance Joseph was a little chippy at his press conference when talking about the defense, saying, hey, yeah, we got all that. We're not worried about the Texans. They need to be worried about us. And I remember last week when playing the Cowboys, JFM was like, no, Cowboys aren't America's team. The Broncos are America's team. And then this week in the locker room press conference, JFM said the same thing. He said, no, we're the best defense. And so he has a thump and an umph to him that's very underrated. And I like Owazarike. I like Jordan Jackson. Savion Jones can't get a jersey. I don't think this defensive line is ready yet to proceed without JFM. I think you need to sign JFM to 2-year deal and re-sign Malcolm Jones both. Let those younger guys develop. Let Savion Jones and Owazarike get maybe 1 or 2 more years, and then you bring them in. But I think you definitely need to keep JFM. Coach Chris is new. He says, loving the program. Appreciate you, Coach Chris. Welcome. Like I said, you got to hit that notification bell, Coach, because we've got a ton of shows that you're not going to want to miss. It's Monday. It's the start of the week. But we've got shows every day of the week, Coach. So you're not going to want to miss any of these. We've got the Broncos Bros this evening at 7 p.m. If you love this, if you love Orange and Blue Blitz and this show, Coach, you're going to love Broncos Bros because they bring the energy. They bring the heat. And then tomorrow, so make sure you give a shout out to Coach Chris. Anytime you see him in the chat, he's here. Make sure you welcome him to the Orange and Blue crew. Mile high salute to Coach Chris. But yeah, I definitely think JFM needs to be signed long-term for sure. I just don't think the guys we have in the wing are ready yet. So let's see. Oh, man. There we go. I just don't think the guys in the wing are ready yet. So I think keeping him for a couple years, him and Zach Allen play really, really well off each other. This was a defensive battle, says David Youngkin. Hard hitting all around. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins got smacked on one play. He got it. Bo even said that was my bad because Bo should have dirted that. He should have dirted that instead of throwing it to J.K. But Aziz smacked him hard. So, yeah, it was a good game. Yost says, welcome, Chris. Glad to have you here. Coach says, I honestly think Mercedes can outplay Troutman. He can block, catch, and it's just as fast. He could, but he only has 3 practice squad elevations, which is going to make him it's the timing's going to be perfect for when Nate Atkins comes back. So, but I do think there's someone else that can take Troutman's spot. I think that we should look for the trade deadline, and I'm going to talk about how that can help us win the division and open up Evan Ingram even more. Coach says, David, good seeing you on here. Brown said they were willing to part with Njoku. When did this happen? Because I remember them saying they weren't willing to part with him. But it's you bring that up because that's exactly who I was saying that the Broncos should target. Johnny, who is also the co-founder of the Orange and Blue Network with me, my best friend in the whole world, says, welcome, Coach Chris. Come check out Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast on Tuesday evening. That's tomorrow. You'll see Johnny and Jay there. Shai says, I'm so happy the Chiefs lost yesterday. Yes, successful hate watch yesterday. The Raiders lost and the Chiefs lost. So successful. Hey, watch. Chiefs are 5-4, third in the division. They did get Josh Simmons back, and they do have their bye week. But if we get Pat Surtain back, I don't think that the Chiefs can keep up with this Broncos defense. It's just, and I don't think the Chiefs have no pass rush, and we can just run the ball and beat the crap out of them. So yes. Coach says, I only heard the Browns weren't willing to trade Myles Garrett. Well, since we're on that topic, the last thing we're going to talk about in Overreaction is I said the Broncos are going to win the division. But the trade deadline is tomorrow. And I think there's a trade that we can make, that we should make, that can really open up this offense and really show that we're ready. To not only win this division, get seeding, because now with the Colts losing, the Broncos are tied for the best record in the AFC. So now it's, if we win the division, can we get a bye? Which is crazy to think about. But so after the last game, I don't think we don't need to trade for a running back. And Coach Payton said this. He talked about the running back duo. And I want to give a shout out to George Payton, to the scouting team, to Sean Payton, and to RJ Harvey. Before we get into that, because I want to break down the positions that we would trade for. Defense is cool. We're good off defense. The linebacker depth is now incredible. Defense is good. Defense is good. We needed, as we're looking at Evan Ingram to be the Joker, RJ Harvey has turned into the Joker. He has 4 receiving touchdowns on the season and 2 rushing. He has a total of 6 total touchdowns. And I think he leads our rookies, or he's second. He's exactly what Sean Payton said he wanted, an explosive running back who can catch out the backfield, and who can break explosive runs every once in a while. And the way that they have used him in the red zone and getting close to it is you have to account. And even on the 2-minute drive last week, that was RJ Harvey yesterday, mostly toward those last few drives, not J.K. Dobbins. That was RJ Harvey, not J.K. Dobbins. So that was very important to see. But the way he's developed in his hands, and he didn't do much of colleges, now that when you're watching film, you're going to have to account for him and watch for him every time. The same way offense is going to say, hey, they're going to see Pat Surtain on their number 1. Then they're going to see Hufang, and they're going to say, okay, I see Surtain. Where's number 9 lining up? Then they're going to have to look around for number 9, and then they're going to have to see Dre Greenlaw in the middle too. It's the same way you're going to have to say, okay, where's Harvey? Where's 12? Okay, there's Harvey. And so while you're looking for him, while the eyes of the linebacker are moving, Tom Payton's got other stuff going on, and he's been a threat in the red zone. J.K. Dobbins, top 3 running back in the NFL, 5-6 yards a clip. He's doing very, 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 very good. So you got that running back duo, and Sean Payton said himself, he goes, hey, that duo is great, and it's looking exactly like we want it to look. So we're not trading for a running back there. The last offensive line. Christian talking about left guard, at left guard, and to try to hold that down into Ben Powers. And there's a couple of things with that. Is one, what do you do if Ben Powers is supposed to come back this season? What do you do when he comes back? Joe Bitonio's not a guy that he's not if he's going to be a rental, he's going to be a rental for the season, not for a month in the season. Alex Forsythe seemed to play, and he's okay. So our backup, Alex Palczewski, has come in and started and done very, very, very well at left guard. So maybe we sign depth at left guard. Maybe we sign a swing tackle, but we don't need a starter. So that's off the table. We go with the last 2 are between wide receiver and tight end. I don't think we need to trade for a wide receiver. Now, there's a few that I would like to trade for. But I don't think it's necessary because Sean Payton said himself he likes the young receiver core. Pat Bryant got more snaps. Marvin Mims is coming back this week. He should play this Thursday because he's been out of the concussion protocol for a week. So he should play this Thursday. Pat Bryant, we've seen he's clutch. Cortland Sutton has got to catch better. And Troy Franklin's been close to being hit on those big ones. So Bo Nix has to be better at throwing the ball deep. And I just don't think if you bring a receiver in, he's going to take snaps away from someone. And it's going to be someone young you don't want to take developmental snaps away from. And so that leaves tight end. And I think that tight end is the move to go. And there's been a couple reports that the Broncos are monitoring the tight end market. And so we had a couple comments from Yost and from Coach. Yo says Browns said they're willing to part with Njoku. And Coach says, I only heard the Browns weren't willing to trade Myles Garrett. David says Broncos can't overlook the Raiders on Thursday. We're not. It's prime time, and we're wearing our throwbacks. You can't overlook the Raiders. Our defense won't allow us to overlook the Raiders, and the Broncos offense wants a bounce back game. I'm curious to see how Coach. I think this could be more of. I want to see. I think this week I want to see Jaleel get some kick return snaps. I think this could be more of an RJ Harvey running game. Maybe you don't use J.K. Dobbins as much because it's close to a back-to-back, and you want to be easy with those snaps. I want to see how they use Drake Greenlaw as well. But yes, we can't overlook the Raiders. Yes, Chiefs couldn't handle Buffalo's defense. They got nothing on ours. Yes, and the Chiefs can't stop the run game either, and we have a top 5 run game. Absolutely, I think the Broncos can win the division. Yo says, I love our boys, the division title as possible, but I'm still not completely sold that we're firing on all cylinders for that yet. I have 25 friends coming over for the Thursday night game, 10 Raiders fans and 15 of us are Broncos fans. It's going to be crazy. That sounds like fun. It's going to be hard for Buffalo and Colts to capture a first-round bye, but having a home playoff game will be a great start. I would love to set up a 2-back set with Dobbins, Harvey in the backfield. I would love that. We saw a couple of that yesterday. Yo says, I bet Franklin gets the majority of the share on targets Thursday. Name your price. Bo's been trying to force feed Franklin. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I hate it. But they want it, so you know what? They said they're going to keep being aggressive, I say no. I say Court. I think Court was very, very frustrated against the Texans, and he was upset. And I think he just demolishes the Raiders. That's my opinion. Coach Chris says, Throwback Thursday. I'll be throwing them back as we thrash the Raiders. Yeah, this should be a 44-17 game. We should blow out. We should get a couple picks. Franklin should finally get his pick. Riley Ball should get his pick. We should have 6-7 sacks. This should be an absolute blowout game. But I started on this rant before I got to the comments because a couple of comments mentioned David Njoku. There's a couple tight ends out there that we mentioned. The Patriots have a couple. I don't think they're moving off any guys. They might be buyers more than anything. TJ Hawkinson was a name, but with JJ McCarthy coming back and they just beat the Lions in the division of 5-3, there'll be buyers, not sellers. So I think he's on market for now. There was Luke Musgrave from the Packers that we talked about, but Tucker Kraft just tore his ACL, so Luke Musgrave will not be getting moved because he'll be the tight end number 1. Mark Andrews was a name that popped up, but with Baltimore picking up momentum 3-5, Cleveland and Cleveland and Cincinnati faltering, Baltimore thinks with Lamar back they can definitely pick it up, which is going to be interesting because the Steelers play the Chargers, so we're rooting for the Steelers to beat the Chargers this week, this upcoming Sunday. So I don't think but they did just trade away Jair Alexander, so they may be sellers. I'd be interested to see if Mark Andrews is a question, because they did trade away Jair Alexander, but I'm interested to see. So Mark Andrews could be a maybe. Chigo Okonkwo from the Titans is a name that pops up. I think he's more likely than Mark Andrews. Maha City Baby 303 says possible the Chiefs don't even make the playoffs. That'd be great. I would love it if the whoever comes in second for the AFC East and the AFC South. I hope the Chiefs out the playoffs. So my top 3 possible tight ends would be David Njoku, Chigo Okonkwo, and Mark Andrews. The thing about those 3 is they can block and they can pass catch. And the reason why I would say a tight end over a receiver and why I think this would be a possible, definitely number 1 is hitting is because we have the run game. We have the receivers if Bo Nix doesn't overthrow them. There's a thing between drops and overthrowing that's together with them that they both have to fix. It's both of them. Evan Ingram is a glorified slot. He's a big tight end and he's a glorified slot. And I think that's where Sean Payton wants to use him primarily. But he can't because of the tight end 2 situation. Whereas you have Troutman in or you have Mercedes Lewis or Atkins in where it's 90% blocking. And so when you have Evan Ingram in, you're like, okay, he's probably going out for a pass. But so you tell yourself, well, if he's a slot all the time, wouldn't you know he's going out for a pass? Yes. But here's the thing with that. If you run 12 personnel, run running back, 2 tight ends, but you have Chigo Okonkwo or David Njoku if you're on the line and you have Evan Ingram standing up, you have to account for both of those tight ends. And so what you can do is Evan Ingram can truly be your joker then. He can really motion in and out. He can really be the focus because the second you shift over your focus to Evan Ingram, Chigo Okonkwo and Njoku can go out and catch a pass too. Adam Troutman's not really a threat, but you saw yesterday what happens when you forget about him. He can go for a 20-yard catch and run. Just when you forget about him. But he can't do that often. Chigo Okonkwo, Mark Andrews, David Njoku, they can do that often while also blocking. So they can be your permanent down 1 tight end. And you can actually, and what that would do is that would help with Ned Atkins coming in and off an injury as well. Mercedes Lewis only has 3 practice elevations. So that other tight end position is kind of in the air. You're hoping Atkins comes back healthy and doesn't have to leave again. You're hoping Mercedes Lewis will stay on the practice squad. And so there's these things with that. Let's see what we got in the comments. David says, remember, the Broncos didn't do anything to trade line last season. Also weren't 7-2 going to the deadline in first and NFC West either. We also didn't have a run game. But we should have traded for a running back, but we kept what we had, and we made the playoffs. This is different. Shai says Jaden Daniels is out for the season. That changes the Washington game. I probably won't be going to that game. Or the tickets will probably be much, much cheaper now. So that's what we're supposed to do. They'll be coming off a bye, and so will we. That's after the Chiefs games. That changes that game a lot. That's probably a win for us against a backup quarterback and Marcus Mariota and an old Luke McCaffrey's out for the season for them and Marshawn Lattimore. So the defense and their team is beat up. Interesting stat. Bo Nix has not played any of the quarterbacks from the 24 draft class. They've all played each other a couple times. Bo Nix has never played any of them. The closest he got was last year against the Falcons, but the defense benched Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix came in. I think Penix threw an interception too. So Bo Nix didn't really play him. And he's supposed to play the Jaden Daniels this year, but Jaden Daniels is probably out for the season. So pretty interesting stat. What if, and hear me out, if we grab Likely instead of Mark Andrews, still heavily targeted as seen as the Miami game, and Likely is wanting to step up? Yeah, the Ravens are not getting rid of Isaiah Likely. Just he's on a rookie contract, and he's very productive. Yeah, that's over with. He's like a younger Evan Ingram. Go get Myers from the Raiders. Yeah, as if the Raiders are going to do an in-division trade. Or A.J. Brown. The Eagles are making moves. They're buying. They're not sellers. David said, I heard their coach is under fire for keeping Jay down in the fourth when it was 37-7. Yeah, for whatever reason, they thought they were Bo Nix and the Broncos in the fourth quarter Broncos. They're not. Unfortunately, that cost them. Their team is a lot older. Ours is younger mixed with veteran presence. So in our bets that we brought in for the defense, and I was thinking about this versus how Washington built their team and how the Broncos built their team. Ray Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga are 25 and 26 years old. Those dudes are young. He's 25, but he plays like he's been in the league 10 years. And so they're able to have that energy to come back. Yo says AJ's too much of a diva. Same reason we didn't get T. Hill while we traded Judy. Yeah, it would mess up the locker room. That's why I prefer guys like Waddle or Garrett Wilson who have been wide receiver twos and haven't been in the media and complained much and still been productive. Let's see. By the time we get Casey on Christmas night, the Chiefs might be out of the playoffs. That is true. Or they'll be fighting for their lives. Raiders season is over now. Yeah, but they still don't want to trade. They still wouldn't do an in-division trade. They're not the Browns. If they were dumb enough, that'd be great, but the price would be higher for the Broncos. Coach agrees with me. There's no way the Raiders trade us Myers. Besides, I'm not sure he's better than the receivers we currently have. He's definitely better than the receivers we currently have. Coach, his hands are much. He's got a low drop. He doesn't drop the ball often. That I think is better because Troy Franklin is inconsistent when it comes up to going up and being aggressive with the ball. Courtland Sutton is inconsistent with the catching with his hands versus body. Pat Bryant's a rookie. D-Rock in his house, he says, West Side, Mile High salute. You came in toward the end, but we're having good talks. He says, sup, chat? Yeah, so I think those are the three tight ends, and I think what that does, that opens Evan Ingram up. The same way Dre Greenlaw opens up to Alno Hufanga. I think another good dual threat tight end opens up Evan Ingram because we still don't have a dual threat tight end. We have a really good receiving tight end and a really good blocking tight end, but we don't have that. We do have a dual threat Nate Atkins, but he can't stay healthy. So that's who I'm thinking that we should go for. If I could see definitely Chico Okonkwo for the Titans would be, I think he's younger too. Let me see how old he is. Mark Andrews is a maybe because the Ravens could be trying to make a run. So I doubt they'd move off and mess up the chemistry. Let's see. And then I think Njoku is 30 as well. So he's also older. 528. So we are 11 subscribers away. We appreciate the subscriber. We just saw that. So we are 11 subscribers away from triggering the Bo Nix jersey giveaway. Let's see. Chico Okonkwo is he's 26. Wow. He's a tight end and fullback. Wow. Okay. All right. That is going to be my number one trade. I think that's going to cost you maybe a sixth. A sixth. He's 26. He's young. He's a threat with the ball. He can block, so he plays fullback. If you're the Broncos, and he's the youngest out of the three, Titans are sellers. They're monitoring the tight end market. They're monitoring the tight end market. Mark Andrews and Njoku are 30. They're older. Chico Okonkwo is 26. He's a guy that can really replace Adam Troutman. And let's say you let Adam Troutman test the free agency market next year, and then you have your two tight ends. You have two dual threat tight ends in Nate Atkins, Chico Okonkwo, and then you have Edmund Ingram for another year. You get another receiving tight end in the draft, or maybe Kyle Pitts. Who knows? But I think Chico Okonkwo will be a definite great pick. That's a guy that I could definitely see. That's a guy that's not mainstream because you know how George Payton is. He's not going to sometimes like this offseason. Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw were definitely big names to go after, and it worked well. But I can definitely see with the low salary cap, you could get Chig, sign him for a 2-3 year deal. He's young, 26 years old. And then you can go out there with 11 person, or you can go out there with 12 personnel with Chig and Ingram, or you can go out there with 13 personnel with Chig, Atkins, with Chig, Troutman, and Evan Ingram, especially with Nate Atkins being hurt. Coach says, what happened to Jaleel? Missed that guy, and we're all the Moss hitters. That guy balled out on Sunday. Jaleel has been inactive because Bidet blocks better, and he's doing special teams. I want to see Jaleel on kick return and punt return if Marvin Mims can't go. I definitely want to see Jaleel on kick return for sure a lot more because RJ Harvey and Bidet don't seem to understand kick return. They don't accelerate. RJ Harvey runs kick return like he's a running back. You have to accelerate and go and hit the hole. You can't jog up and then try to hit a hole and go. You can't do that. I want to see more Jaleel. I do miss him too. Moss fighters are quiet. Riley Moss had an excellent game. Not many penalties called on him. Did an excellent job. And I loved him for that. And, I really support him. And he's gotten a lot better. And he's getting better. And I think when PS2 gets back, they're just going to step it up and go even harder and further. I wouldn't be shocked at all D-Rock says, how shocked would y'all be if we stay pat this season? I wouldn't be shocked at all. My only thing is that this injury thing with the tight end is very weird because we're almost in limbo where Nate Atkins could be on IR, but he's out. So we get Mercedes Lewis, who gets 3 practice squad elevations. And then you have some time to the 53. But then you're like, hey, we've also been monitoring the tight end market, and we can definitely use a dual threat tight end. So if I'm the Broncos, I wouldn't be surprised if we sent a 6 to Tennessee and said, hey, we'll give you a 6, maybe even a 5th. Definitely a 6 for Chig. Brought him over. So I expect but I also wouldn't be surprised. I don't get the hate from Moss. He's targeted a lot. I think the hate in Broncos country is starting to dissipate because it seems like he's been targeted by the refs. And it's fine if we get on Riley Moss, but it's not cool if you get on Riley Moss. And so now we're starting to love Riley Moss more. Pat Surtain did a big thing with that, especially with the podcast and defending him. Keith Lee's been supporting him a lot. And with it seems like the refs are targeting him. She kind of decided, hey, enough. We're gonna circle around him. Yeah, everyone agrees Moss played better. D-Rock says my QB2, 21 Moss. Yeah. Love Riley Moss. Love the way he's bounced back. He's real. Him and Bo are very similar to me in their ability to forget and just, Bo overthrew Evan Ingram bad and then came back and hit Cortland Sutton on a beauty. Riley Moss can get a catch on him, then get a good pass breakup on Nico Collins on 3rd and 4. So I love to see that. All right, guys, we're getting ready to take off here. First in the AFC West, tied for the best record. Everyone's chasing us. Now, obviously, they hate the Broncos. They don't want to talk about us. They hate it, but they have to. They have to give us respect. Defense is nasty. We showed the Texans who was boss. I see why we got Dre Greenlaw and Todd. Those two play off each other so well. The same way Harvey and Dobbins play off each other, Greenlaw and Hufanga are together. Oh, my goodness. And so I'm excited for this Thursday game. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss any shows. Don't forget we're on the path to the 539 Blue Knicks jersey giveaway. My salute to you all. I will see you guys tonight for Broncos Bros at 7 p.m. My salute to the Orange and Blue crew. We appreciate everyone who came in who was new, especially you, Coach.
We confide.